So going back to the to the early days at ancestry.com and tripping.com, what were you kind of working on there? Maybe what were some of the kind of challenges with them both as marketplaces?
Yeah, so I mean, I think as we all know with marketplaces, Ancestry may not seem like a marketplace on the veneer, but realistically, what it is like you're connecting people that want to perform research on their family history with data, right? And you are essentially aggregating data providers, and the real asset there, the supply side of the business, is access to things like census records and things like that. And so digitizing and providing a conduit to put all this information online and then connecting people with that data. That's what Ancestry does, and that was like the biggest challenge. Was always like, how do you connect people without them doing a ridiculous amount of research to find everything themselves? Realistically, there, as we launched the DNA product, it was really about providing more supply of data, right? And the more you do there, the stickier retention is. And the more usage and everything that goes up. So that was like the big thing there. Tripping, was a vacation rental space was interesting because I joined like third employee-ish. It was really as HomeAway had been around, but Airbnb was taking off meaningfully. And so it was, early on, one of the big insights that we had was that, while Airbnb and HomeAway had a lot of inventory, most vacation rental transactions were still on the tail, right? And there was a lot of disparate supply. And so I think you'll see this common thread as we think about marketplaces, and at least my experience is that aggregation of supply and really where the repeat behavior is typically one of the biggest problems in marketplaces, but also the greatest growth unlocks when you get it. It's like I look back through all these challenges. It's always been, how do you get the right supply at the right place at the right time, the right quality.
Yeah, certainly, and that was also a really interesting kind of time with the travel market and the competitors, like you mentioned, with HomeAway and Airbnb. So were there any kind of like big learnings at your time there at tripping.com that you've then taken with you to Outdoorsy?
Many. I've made many mistakes in my career, so lots of good learnings from that. I think overall, as you do marketplaces and as you do startups before, you kind of learn what's important, like what really has high signal to noise. And for me, I think a lot of what I took away from tripping and working in the vacation rental space was how important like owning the whole vertical was. And so this is something you see that we'll maybe talk a little bit more about Outdoorsy, is that being able to own from the supply calendar all the way to final booking and reservation is really important. And so a lot of what you saw in the vacation rental space was people had already built property management softwares, then they built booking engines, and then they built, essentially classified sites. And then there was aggregators on top of that. And it was a very disparate space that led to essentially bad user experiences. And so at Outdoorsy, kind of like one of the things that I was really excited about joining was that space didn't really have anyone that had serviced the supply side to build a property management booking engine, all the things to run their business. And so one of the I think things that I saw where there's a lot of value creation to be had was, how do you quickly as a business verticalize all the way from the supply side all the way to demand side and own that? And I think you'll see that as a core theme with Outdoorsy, is that, Outdoorsy is a marketplace very similar to Airbnb. And there's additional products beneath that, one being Wheelbase, which is a SaaS business to run your rental fleet on, and then ultimately insurance and other offerings, which allow you to run your business. So we can get into more of that, but that was what excited me in particular was, how do you, get into an early opportunity and verticalize the entire thing and own that? Because owning the calendars, which means owning the accuracy and the bookings, is the key to success in travel in particular.